Shocking, Europe won't survive what's coming. With the war going on between Russia and Ukraine, where the world is already facing a deadly pandemic, unemployment, inflation, population collapse, and whatnot, what do you guys think? Will Europe survive its economic, social, political status in the world? Europe has a dominant history that everyone is aware of, but is the future analysis in the favor of this continent? Will Europe survive? And if not, how will this situation be tackled? Want to explore more? Hello, geopolitics learners, and welcome back to Nations Echo, where we share the difficulties that nations can be faced in the next few years, and today we'll discuss some giant problems about Europe. Like, is Europe about to sink? You want to know more? Without wasting much of our time, let's get into the video and see all the concerns in its detail. And let's begin! As Russia's war in Ukraine continues, signals of worry are increasing across Europe. More individuals are being fed by food banks in Italy. As they prepare to limit natural gas and restart coal plants, German officials are turning off the air conditioning. A massive utility has requested a taxpayer rescue, and more may follow. Dairies are concerned about how they will pasteurize milk. The euro's dropped to a 20-year low against the dollar, and recession forecasts are increasing. Those pressure points show how the battle, and the Kremlin's slow choking off natural gas that keeps industry humming, sparked an energy crisis in Europe and highlighted the prospect of a return to a recession just as the economy was recovering from the COVID-19 outbreak. Meanwhile, high energy costs brought on by the war are working to Russia's advantage. Russia is a major exporter of oil and natural gas, and its central bank, along with years of experience coping with sanctions, has helped keep the ruble and inflation stable despite the country's economic isolation. Economists believe that in the long run, Russia will avoid total economic collapse, but will pay a hefty price for the war. This price will be a growing economic stagnation as a result of lost investment and lower earnings for the people of Russia. The most important problem that Europe faces right now is a short-term one, overcoming record inflation of 8.6% and making it through the winter without suffering from devastating energy shortages. The dependence of the continent on natural gas from Russia means that greater energy costs are being passed on to manufacturing facilities, the cost of food and gasoline tanks. The lack of assurance is harming energy-intensive industries such as agriculture and steel, both of which may be subject to natural gas restrictions if the crisis deepens. The large dairy cooperative known as Molkerei Berchtesgadener Land, which is located in the town of Pidding in Germany, just outside of Munich, has stored away 200,000 liters of fuel oil so they can continue to produce power and steam to pasteurize milk and keep it cold if electricity or natural gas to its turbine generator is disrupted. It is essential protection for the 1,800 member farmers who between them milk 50,000 cows each day to create 1 million liters of milk. Daily milking of dairy cows is necessary, and if production were to stop, the resulting ocean of milk would have nowhere to go. Bernard Pointner, the managing director of the dairy, was quoted as saying that if the dairy can't function, then the farmers can't either. If that were to happen, the farmers would have to throw away their milk. To maintain the temperature of up to 20,000 pallets of milk, the dairy needs the same amount of electricity in 1 hour as a typical American household does in an entire year. The dairy company has also accumulated a supply of packaging and other goods as a precaution against the possibility that its suppliers may be impacted by a scarcity of energy. We have a lot saved, but that will only last for a few weeks. The problems with the economy even make an appearance at the dinner table. According to estimates provided by consumer advocacy groups, the annual increase in the cost of food for a typical Italian household is 681 euros. We are concerned about the situation and the continuous increase in the number of families we are supporting, says Dario Bolgio Marzet, president of the Food Bank of Lombardy, which groups dozens of charities that run soup kitchens and provide essentials to those who need assistance. We are concerned about the situation and the continuous increase in the numbers of families that we're supporting. This year, their monthly expenses have increased by 5,000 euros. Jessica Lobley, a single mother of two who lives in the district of Genevieve in Paris, pays close attention to the escalating prices of food and other household goods. She has decreased the amount of milk and yogurt that she consumes, and she no longer eats Nutella or branded cookies. The situation is going to become worse, but for us to survive, we need to eat. According to Lobley, who works in a school kitchen and makes between 1,300 and 2,000 euros per month, and the average wage is 1,300 euros. After spending between 150 and 200 euros on food each month, she was only able to afford 100 euros in June. She mentioned that her family does not eat as much during the summer, but she is anxious about September, which is when she will have to purchase school supplies for her daughter, who is 15 years old, and her son, who is 8 years old, which will further reduce her available funds. President Emmanuel Macron of France has stated that the government's goal is to reduce energy use by turning off lights in public areas overnight and implementing other measures. Along the same lines, government authorities in Germany are pleading with residents and businesses to reduce their energy consumption and are mandating that public buildings use less heating and cooling. This comes after Russia cut off or reduced the supply of natural gas to a dozen different countries in Europe. There is concern that gas will not be able to resume flowing through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline after it was shut down for routine maintenance the previous week, along with another significant pipeline. Uniper, the largest importer of Russian gas into Germany, has turned to the federal government for assistance after finding itself in a difficult position as a result of this rapid increase in gas prices and the maximum amount that it was permitted to charge its customers. Carsten Bresky, head economist for the Eurozone at ING Bank, anticipates a recession by the end of the year as a result of high prices reducing consumers' ability to spend. The decision made by European governments over whether or not to make the large investments necessary for the transition to an economy based on renewable energy will determine Europe's longer-term economic growth. Without investments and structural change, the only thing that's left to do is hope that everything will work as it did before, Bresky said, but it won't. While Europe is struggling, Russia has been able to maintain stability in its stock market, inflation rate, and exchange rate for the currency thanks to considerable government intervention. As a result of a decrease in demand from Western clients, there are more purchasers of Russian oil in Asia, even though prices have been lowered. After receiving sanctions as a result of its annexation of the territory of Crimea, which is located within Ukraine in 2014, the Kremlin established a fortress economy by maintaining a low level of debt and encouraging businesses to obtain their components and food from within Russia. Even though certain enterprises with foreign ownership, such as IKEA, have closed their doors and Russia has defaulted on its foreign debt for the first time in more than a century, there is no sense of an impending crisis in the downtown area of Moscow. Even though Uniqlo, Victoria's Secret, and Zara are no longer open for business in the 7-story Evropsky Mall, well-heeled young people are still frequenting the restaurants there. The restaurant that took over for McDonald's, Vyskuno i Tochka, is providing food that is virtually indistinguishable from its predecessors, and the mall location that had housed Krispy Kreme has since changed its name but offers essentially the same products. I think that's going to do it for today's video, folks. We sincerely hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you like our video and share it with all your friends and family. Do you have any questions or comments for us? Well, make sure you leave them in the comment box down below. We always love checking in with you, our viewers. And remember, you can always press that bell icon to subscribe to our channel and make sure you stay up to date with us and all of our new updates and uploads. Hey, thanks for spending time with us today, and we'll look forward to seeing you in our next video. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching.